and welcome to the Movies Past and Present podcast. This is episode 2 of the podcast, and it's November 15th, 2018. I'm your host, Stanford Clark, and I'm podcasting from the crossroads of the West in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. Just like my blog, moviespastandpresent.com, I'll be providing reviews and commentary about current and classic cinema. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get started. New in cinemas this week, we've got 3 films that I'm going to talk about. First one is Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. This, as you all know, is the next adventure in J.K. Rowling's Wizarding World franchise that just continues to grow and just continues to print money. This is the second film in this Fantastic Beasts series. 5 films have been planned for this Fantastic Beasts series. And again, as all of you Harry Potter fans know, this series takes place before the Harry Potter book and movie series takes place. So the first film, which was called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, came out in 2016. And at the end of that first film, the powerful dark wizard Garrett Grindewald, which turns out was played by Johnny Depp, it's a big reveal, was captured with the help of Newt Scamander, who is played in this series by Eddie Redmayne. But making good on his threat, Grindelwald now has escaped custody and has set about gathering followers, most unsuspecting of his true agenda, which is to raise pure-blood wizards up to rule over all non-magical beings. So, Albus Dumbledore comes into play into this film. I think we all remember Professor Dumbledore from the Harry Potter movies. And in this prequel series, he's played by the actor Jude Law. And Dumbledore enlists Newt, who was one of his former students at Hogwarts, to help fight against Grindelwald. So a lot of the same, in fact, I think the majority of the cast, it appears, is back for this second version, or the second film in the Fantastic Beasts series, including Catherine Waterston, Dan Fogler, Alison Sudol, Ezra Miller, and there's some other actors in this installment too, including Zoe Kravitz and Callum Turner and some other people that I'm not that familiar with. So we'll leave it at that. This film is directed again by David Yates. He directed this the first Fantastic Beasts film, and also J.K. Rowling wrote this screenplay too. She wrote the screenplay to that first Fantastic Beasts film, from 2 years ago. I saw that Fantastic Beasts film. I haven't seen this new one yet. So, and also, as you'll come to find out, and I might as well just be open with you, I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan. I know people are going to come at me for that, but let's just be honest. Still, I know I have lots of friends that adore it, and I love them, and I just want to respect it. So, I've heard that, again, I haven't seen it. I've heard from friends who have that actually this film is a bit messy and convoluted, and it sounds like there's just so many characters and so much going on. Possibly those who are really familiar with all of the Wizarding World comings and goings, they might fare a little better than the more average or muggle viewer, or whatever you want to call them. So anyway, that's opening. I'm sure again they're just gonna continue to print money, even if the critics might not love it. It's got such a loyal fan base, and hopefully the loyal fans will we'll be able to have some fun with it. It is rated PG-13 by the Motion Picture Association of America for some sequences of fantasy action. Whatever that means. So, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Next up, now for something completely different, is the film Widows. This is from 20th Century Fox. It's directed by Steve McQueen. Now, Steve McQueen is the director who did 12 Years a Slave a few years back, and he co-wrote this screenplay with the best-selling author Gillian Flynn, who's the author of the mystery Gone Girl that lots of readers were really crazy about that book. This is a modern-day thriller set against the backdrop of, as it says here in the press materials, of crime, passion, and corruption. It's the story of four women with nothing in common except a debt left behind by their dead husbands' criminal activities. So, hence the name Widows. But so, four women, played by Viola Davis, Michelle Rodriguez, Elizabeth Debicki, and Cynthia Erivo, they take their fate into their own hands and conspire to forge a future on their own terms. So, if you've seen the preview, it looks like that's what they do. And their dead husbands include some of this cast. We've got Liam Neeson, Colin Farrell, Robert Duvall, Daniel Kaluuya, Lucas Haas, and Brian Tyree Henry. And again, I'm not sure who all of the husbands are. I think Liam Neeson was in the film is married to, he plays the character married to Viola Davis's character. But anyway, it had me at Steve McQueen. 12 Years a Slave was such a meaningful, it was, just dreadfully painful to watch in some places just because of the accurate portrayal of the horrible things that happened. But I admire his filmmaking a lot. So I'm really excited to see this different kind of film, and with such a powerhouse cast and creative team, I think it looks very promising. Widows is rated R by the Motion Picture Association of America for violence, language throughout, and some sexual content and nudity. So that's Widows. And then finally, we've got the film Instant Family, which is a comedy from Paramount Pictures. It stars Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne, who play parents who don't know a lot about their situation other than they don't have any children. And when they decide to look into possibly doing some foster care, they end up bringing in three siblings, and they've got, including the oldest is a rebellious 15-year-old, and then they've got two younger. They've got another boy and a girl, and they get to learn how to be parents. Kind of, they have a steep learning curve, and it looks like there's a lot of comedic possibility with this. The previews to me look funny, and I hope it delivers, and we'll see. So Instant Family, it's rated PG-13 for thematic elements, sexual material, language, and some drug references. So let's hope that one is funny. So good things to choose from this weekend: Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, Widows, and Instant Family. Okay, now for a couple of reviews. Now, I have not blogged about either of these two films, but I've seen them over the last few days and thought that they might be interesting to talk about for a bit. Both of these films are currently playing in theaters. So first up is the drama it's listed as a comedy, and I disagree. I'm calling it a drama or a dramedy, but really it's more of a drama called Mid-90s. And this is a film written and directed by the actor Jonah Hill. And it's his directorial debut, and I gotta hand it to him. He did a very credible job. It's a well-crafted film. So this movie is shockingly set in the mid-1990s in Los Angeles, and it follows a 13-year-old boy named Stevie. Stevie is played by the actor Sonny Suljic, and it's summertime. Stevie comes from pretty much a messed up home. It's a single parent home. He's just got a mom. We don't know where the dad is. They don't talk about him really much. And then he has an older brother who's played by Lucas Hedges, who's a nightmare. And Stevie's mom, who's played by Catherine Waterston, is she clearly, I think she loves her kids, but she got pregnant really young and has just been kind of ill-equipped. It just felt like this character is playing catch up with her life, and is wanting to be a good mom, but really is only able to do so much. So Stevie's in a tough spot. His big brother, played by Lucas Hedges, is just this antisocial jerk. He just is very focused on himself, but clearly as you see him throughout the film, he has no friends. He's not happy. He doesn't have a good life, or really a lot of confidence. It's all just kind of show with, kind of fancy brand name clothing that he's able to scrounge, and he tries to work out and whatnot, but he's mostly, it doesn't really show him that he's playing sports or anything. He's just really just a butthole brother who really is abusive, beats the crap out of his little brother all the time, and a little Stevie, and he's just, portrayed as a very horrible guy. So Stevie's got a lot that he's dealing with, and so he just kind of happens to fall in with this group of kids that hang out at a skateboard shop, and so clearly, they all have skateboards and whatnot. Now it's interesting. The preview makes this look like it's a skateboard movie, but honestly, that's the farthest thing from the truth. So this skateboards are in it because, again, they all have skateboards and they hang out at the skate shop. But really, it's about this group of kids that all come from really troubled homes for the most part, and then just how they form a friendship and kind of their life and times throughout a summer. So, again, all due respect to Jonah Hill, he did a very good job. Mostly, though, I found the film really hard to watch, and probably most of it is just because I just felt so bad for these characters coming from such horrible home lives, and I think that's part of the point, that there's so much going on, and there's so many labels we can put on it, like toxic masculinity and different things, but mostly, these kids needed love, and they don't get it at home, and so they have each other. And, their relationship is just like with kids. It kind of, they egg each other on and they fight, but also they're doing a lot of drugs. They're teenagers, so of course they're going to be, they're experimenting with sex, but they're really disrespectful of adults, and again, it's hard to watch. It's rated R for perversive language, sexual content, drug and alcohol use, and violent behavior and disturbing images, all involving minors. That all involving minors part, again, is what I think made it really, really sad. I went with one of my good buddies to watch it, who's a parent. He's got he's got some children, and he was commenting on it, how difficult it was for him to watch, just because that's just not the way that he and his wife chose to parent. And anyway, so interesting film, not a skateboard film, but really a slice of life film about kids in a tough spot. It's kind of fun to see some of this 90s stuff and hear some of this 90s music and whatnot, but it's so much, to me, it wasn't nostalgic at all. It was, again, mostly, just kind of a tragedy about kids growing up without kind of love, support, and direction that they might need to really turn into healthy adults. Okay, so next one is Can You Ever Forgive Me? And this was a really interesting film. It's a drama. It stars Melissa McCarthy, and it's actually an adaptation of a memoir called Can You Ever Forgive Me? Memoirs of a Literary Forger, written by a woman, a female writer named Lee Israel. And so Melissa McCarthy plays Lee Israel, and Lee, I'd never heard of this writer, so this was all new for me. The type of books that she was writing just ended up not selling and not being that popular. So she really became a down and out writer. Truly, she was broke. She, months behind in her rent. She didn't have money to. She had a cat that she really loved, but that was sick, and the vet wouldn't even take care of her cat because she was behind in her bill. the vet. So anyway, really down and out. And she was writing a book about the vaudeville star Fanny Brice. And as you may know, Fanny Brice was the character that Barbra Streisand plays in Funny Girl. But this vaudeville, New York vaudeville star, and Lee's agent is totally against her, writing this book. She doesn't want to, but Lee's doing a little more research about the project, and she finds these letters in one of these books at the library that Fanny Brice wrote, and that were tucked into this book. So she stole them, and she took them to some kind of a literary dealer store, or someone who deals in these kind of historical documents and whatnot, and was able to get some money. And so she decides that she actually, because she is a good writer, that she actually could write better letters than these actual letters that were being, that people were selling, and she becomes a forger. So she learns, you see how she learns to copy these signatures. She gets stationery printed, and she ages it, and does all these different things, and really starts to make a living. She's basically a loner. She's a very unpleasant person. At least is how she's portrayed in the film. And, it's a bit of a departure for Melissa McCarthy, because I felt that Melissa McCarthy often plays the same character, but maybe just in a different wardrobe. But this is a very different person. I mean, this woman is truly caustic. But still, anyway, she befriends this guy named Jack, who is played by Richard E. Grant. This guy, Jack, is also down on his luck. He's a drug addict, and kind of living hand to mouth, but with some style. We don't really know where he lives. he's not very clear about. Maybe he doesn't even know. No, he plays it smooth. But anyway, these two form a bond, and finally, when Lee starts being suspected by some of these dealers, these literary dealers, for lack of a better word, that's what I'm going to call them. She sends Jack in to do it, and he's charming enough that he's able to keep the charade going on for a while too. The FBI finds out and hunts them down, and I won't give it away, but it was a really good film, filmed in New York City, so that's always a plus. And as I mentioned, a really different performance from Melissa McCarthy. So if you're expecting it to be just kind of ha funny, and then she's just laying out the comedic insults, maybe they are comedic, but it's kind of true to her character. Because again, this is I don't know much about Lee Israel, but wow, she's not necessarily a person who you really want to necessarily hang out with. But really, really a well-crafted film, interesting characters, interesting situations, really good pacing, and really interesting character arcs, both for Lee and for Jack. Terrific performances again by both Melissa McCarthy and Richard E. Grant. And I'm not one really to do a good job in predicting nominations for Academy Awards, but I really would not be surprised if Melissa McCarthy doesn't get a nomination for her performance in this film for Best Actress, because she's terrific. All right, last up is our classic cinema corner, and I am just going to talk about one film that you can see on the big screen on November 18th, 19th, and 20th. This film is a Japanese animated film, or an anime film, called Castle in the Sky. It's made in 1986. It's from Studio Ghibli and directed by the great Hayao Miyazaki. This film, I think, really is the first film from Studio Ghibli in Japan. And it's interesting that this is the last film of what's been happening this year, is known as Studio Ghibli Fest, which has been a series of films that have played over the last few months that you'll be able to see them on the big screen. That's been fun. I've been able to go to a few of them. I quite like much of the work of Studio Ghibli, and particularly films by Hayao Miyazaki. They are beautifully crafted, hand-drawn animation, typically really interesting stories, complex stories. Some of them are even a bit baffling, because I think some of them, it's for me, I feel like I need to have a better understanding of Japanese culture to understand the stories. But still, he does remarkable work. This film is no exception, even though it's made early on. So again, 1986. It's really a fun adventure film. That's what it is, and just the chance to be able to see it on the big screen again is really cool. It's an adventure story about this legendary floating castle, hence the title. This castle is this floating city named Laputa, which is this city that basically kind of disappeared. But a young boy named Pazu, and a girl named Sheeta, Sheeta, have connections to the city, and they're trying to find it. They are being chased by this group of greedy air pirates, this military team, secret government agents, and some other mysterious folks. And it's so much fun, so creative, so engaging. I love it. I would just recommend this. I would recommend this to anybody. So go to fathomevents.com and look for Castle in the Sky, and it'll list the theaters near you that are playing this. As I mentioned, it's playing on 3 days: the 18th, the 19th, and the 20th. This is shown on the website, but on the 18th, it's a dubbed. Actually, the 18th and the 20th, it's a dubbed version, so it's the English dub. And then on November 19th, it's in Japanese with English subtitles. So the dub and the sub. The English dub cast actually is really good. That's the only way that I've seen it is with this English dub cast. And it stars Anna Paquin, James Vanderbeek, Cloris Leachman, Mark Hamill is in it, Mandy Patinkin. So it's a cool, it's a really good English language cast that they've assembled. But I think you can't lose either with the dub or the sub. So treat yourself and go see Castle in the Sky for a really great animated treat on the big screen. Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a great weekend at the movies, and we'll catch you next week.